Hey, Chris. I just wanted to give you some details leading up to this video. I cut up three different interviews um, to give you an idea about the candidates. One of the top candidates texted me earlier today before I started this and said that, wow, he really appreciated. He's might be interested in our company down the road, but he took a position with someone else. He was a really good candidate and lived in Pineville. So he's not in here. So I threw in an extra guy. I think the first two in this video are probably the ones you want to look at, but I threw the next one in. I did 11 or 12 interviews, and there's a lot of duds, but I learned a lot about what competitors are doing for pay. A lot of commission stuff. There's a lot of bad situations out there, so we can definitely use that to our advantage as we grow. But what I did for the first guy, you'll see more of him because I wanted you to see some of the questions I was asking. So I'm in it a lot for the first guy, and then you can figure it out for the last two to make it shorter. Okay, man. Okay. The first guy is Cody. He lives in Rock Hill, so that's a good spot. He's got over 15 years experience. Right now is running his own business. He was working for companies before that, but he doesn't have a budget for advertising, and it's uneven. He needs some stability, and he needs insurance. And he talks about that. I looked up his customer reviews for his business right now, and they're all 5-star. So here we go. As we grow, this role is for residential service and then commercial, and dispatch and going through the process with the customer. The pay is hourly plus bonus, and the hourly is based on experience, right? 25 to $30 per hour. The bonus is not on revenue or sales. It is on customer surveys and reviews. Okay. And so you're looking at about $85,000 first year for this role. So I'm going to stop there, see, what questions you have, reaction about about our culture and philosophy and the pay and everything.
Right. Well, I feel the exact same way about taking care of the customers. I mean, you treat them fair, they become customers for life. And I've always felt that way. I hate companies that do price gouge. I mean, I've gone behind companies that price gouge and still do the job wrong, and obviously I'm called out there to take care of that client. And I have clients that go back 15 years now.
And I do see that you have some really great experience in working for people and then also building your own business. And so the one thing I didn't say is there's a benefit package, health benefits and other for the compensation. But I'm interested to see, why you'd want to transition to another company at this point, get a little bit of that going.
That's pretty easy to explain. I mean, one is the benefits. I've looked in trying to get insurance on my own, and it's thousands of dollars a month. I have a 15-month-old daughter. My business, for a while, especially during 2020, believe it or not, I was busy. I was doing 4 or 5 jobs a day, and you take care of those customers and you go through, like I said, and kind of fix all their issues. Well, they're not calling you back, because they don't have any issues, might be 4 or 5 years between calls, which I had a client this last week and hadn't talked to in 6 years. Hit me up. Hey, I got this, I want to add a hose bib. Okay, excellent. But everything else working great, So, so I need steady business. I need steady income coming in. So that's another reason for me, like looking for a company to work with, is, take care of my daughter, take care of my family. I also take care of my elderly father. He's 84 years old. So I take care of him.
I don't know if I mentioned, we have investors behind us too to make this large. So
Yeah.
um, my skills in sales and marketing is going to really help us because I have a budget to work with too, an advertising budget. So we're gonna keep everybody busy. Um, Another
And that's
piece is,
that's
yeah,
kind of where I fell short with my business is having that money to advertise. I mean, to advertise even in a small little area is, pretty large bucks anymore, So
yep,
it's kind of hard to get your
yep,
name out there.
yep. I gotcha. I agree. Um, so let me ask you, what type of work do you like best, right? And
Service,
okay,
100%. I love diagnosing the issues. I love going into a client's home when they have an issue, they're freaking out. I love to calm them down and leave feeling like Superman. I just
yeah,
saved their day. Yeah, I
yeah,
love that feeling. It's self gratification, I guess. But yeah, I love service work for me, especially on my back, my knees, things like that. But crawl spaces for the most part, they're doable. But that digging, man, that's what kills me. I used to be able to throw a 40-gallon water heater on my shoulder. And it's not so much anymore.
yeah,
I realize, hey, that's probably why my back is killing me.
yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. So let me ask you this. I got a quick scenario. Um, you get dispatched to a home, and there's some spots in the ceiling. And when you first initially start speaking with the owner, they're like, "Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. There's only a couple spots. It probably won't be that expensive." Then you go in and do your diagnosis, and you find a $2,000 job, right? How do you explain that to the customer? How do you go through that with them?
Well, pretty much as soon as they say, hey, I don't think it's going to cost that much, you got to kind of nip that in the bud right there. Like, hey, let me take a look. Let's see. Hopefully, for your sake, it doesn't cost much. But I want to warn you, we could be looking at, a couple grand if it's worst case scenario, but let me take a look at it. Let's see what's actually going on. And I'll typically say, for, pretty much for a fair price or for this X amount, I'm going to, do what I need to do, take a look, and let's go from there, And if the company offers financing, which most companies nowadays do,
Mhm.
say, hey, while I'm working, I'm going to say, hey, by the way, if it is a couple $1,000s coming out the gate, we do offer financing, and it could be X amount down or no money down, and X amount per month. I might do those calculations in my head and be like, hey, this is kind of a ballpark, but I can't be
Yep.
for sure. I'm not a finance guy, but could be what you're looking at, and can you do that per month? So I kind of get them prepared for worst case
Yeah.
scenario. I normally do try to get everybody prepared for worst case scenario, even if I take a look at something and I know in my head, oh, this is going to be just swapping out or tightening up a nut, and it's not going to cost them much. I want them to be prepared, like, hey, I'm going to have to replace this whole line. That way, when it comes down to, like, hey, it's going to be $180 instead of 500, like they were thinking, they're like, oh, whoo, I'm lucky today,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
So
That's
yeah, when it
smart.
comes to like a $2,000 price ticket, I'm normally building up to that point, like, hey, it could be this, and this is what we can do for you, you know? So that's how I
Yeah.
work through.
Very good. Very good. And we have a process. We have, training that's paid and everything for it. But I find that when I owned one of my businesses, it was a technician business, and we would go out and fix computers and internet and other things like this. And most people just they know what they do in their job. They have no clue about IT. So explaining what the issue is in layman terms, showing them, really helps them understand, okay, this isn't a small thing. So do you take pictures? Do you physically show them that so that that's part of the explanation?
Absolutely. Now, if it's
Yeah.
down in a crawl space, down in the back corner, and it's an older lady, she ain't getting in that crawl space. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to take pictures. But hey, if it's underneath the sink, I'm like, hey, ma'am, can you kneel down for a second? Oh, I got bad knees. Okay, I can take a picture. Or, yeah, I can kneel down. So let me go ahead and work through this and show you. And I don't just take one picture. I normally take multiple angles of pictures. Like, hey, this is looking at it from this way, and this is looking at it from this way, and this is what's going on. This is how I can fix it. And I normally try to build a couple options for them as well. It's not just one, like, hey, this is it. And no, I know, like, here's option A, here's option B, here's option C. This is the cost difference between, this is what you get out of this is what you get out of that,
Perfect. And then just want to make sure I'm hitting everything. So driving record. I assume you have a clean
Clean.
driving record as well. Okay.
Yes, sir. Clean. Spotless. In fact, the last company I worked for, I dropped their insurance. Like, I dropped the cost of their insurance.
Nice. Excellent. So when would you be able to start if this works out for both of us?
You give me a call and I'll tell you.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
yeah, I mean, I would say, a couple day lead time. That's about it.
Okay.
And even some circumstances be next day. It all depends.
Okay. The next
Yeah.
candidate is Sean Ritchie. He's a clean cut guy. Like his kind of easygoing demeanor. He's got a lot of experience, as you can see here with Roto-Rooter and Roto-Rooter, man. They have a commission only. They screw their people. Morris Jenkins and everything. So he is very interested. However, he lives in Maiden, North Carolina, which is about a 40 to 45-minute drive to the Pineville area. So that's the one downside. He says he's used to driving places, and that's not a big deal for him. But that could get old for people, I think. Just something to think about.
Okay. I started out doing plumbing by accident in like 2008. Done a big commercial apartment complex. It took about a year to do, and then in the afternoons we would run and catch service calls. And then once we got done, I got thrown into doing just service calls. And then they bumped me back to where I was doing new construction homes and service calls. And I run and done that from 2008 to 2019. And then I went and got a job with Roto-Rooter and worked there from 2019 till 2024. And they do everything. I mean, if you sold a sewer line repipe and Cameron and located it, you were the one getting the excavator and digging it up, or water main. I got certified working on tankless Renaz and stuff like that. And I mean, I've done a little bit of everything. I mean, we had a contract with hospitals when I worked there that we would go and jet their manholes and rebuild their flush valves and clean their sewer lines, all kinds of stuff.
So you sound confident in working with the customer. So walking in to an appointment at a residence, doing a diagnosis, explaining what the repair would be, and then asking them if they'd like to move forward. How do you feel about all of that?
Yeah. I got really well at doing that, working at Roto-Rooter, just because it was all commission. I mean, if you couldn't go out and sell work, you ain't eating that week. Working out was just going around hitting people in the head left and right for as much money as they could, burn all their customers.
Yep.
So it got to where I was getting like one job every other day, and he just ain't gonna make it doing it like that with commission. He ain't gonna sell a repipe on every job you go to or nothing crazy. So I left them and was kind of doing my own thing for a couple months. I wasn't necessarily plumbing. I was doing like decks, floors, fencing and stuff like that. But then I got back with this company that I worked for years ago called Inico, and I've been working for them a couple of days a week and trying to get this job that I'm at. I've been trying to get it finished up so I can cut ties with
Okay, the
doing my
final
own
guy
thing,
is
just work somewhere
Brian.
full time.
Brian lives in
Goals,
Indian Trail. So that's
diagnosing an
pretty jumping on
issue,
485, gets them
explaining
to
what
where
the
a
fix
location
would
will be
be,
pretty
the
quickly.
cost.
He's got a lot of
Tell me a little
experience,
bit about
30
that
plus
experience.
years. He's looking for something stable.
Yeah. So in residential homes, yeah, I've plumbed them from ground up, and going in if like there's you know tankless water heaters or regular gas water heaters. Usually, mostly electric and gas. You just basically if it's a leak in water heater, or you have electric heaters where maybe an element's gone bad. Lots of times people are just usually replacing the whole heater when it comes to something like that. It's very rare that you're replacing elements nowadays, right? And then
Yeah.
tankless, I mean, there's a few diagnostics you're going to have been doing on that. Just seeing if, seeing if you get a flame, get a fire. I hadn't really touched them in a while. I've been out of circulation, to tell you the truth, but I've installed a bunch of them,
Okay.
lots of times.
Very good.
It's like
What have you been doing
like,
lately? I don't remember.
yeah. I've been just working for myself doing whole bathroom remodels and
Okay.
actually doing landscaping too. I mean, I've got
Okay.
a friend and a partner that we've been working. We've known each other since we were 5 years old, and we're partner up, just getting what we can, doing it.
That's good. That's good. So what are you looking for, in the next role with a company? What are you looking for?
Well, if I was wanting to get back in, I was hoping you don't do any new construction, right? Is that what you're saying?
Not right now. No.
Okay. So everything you're doing is all service.
It's all service, mostly residential.